You're listening to Discover Janesville on Discover Community Media. This is Yuri Rashkin, and I am joined today by Jason Dowd, supervisor. Are you still supervisor, or you're completed?
I'm still a supervisor.
Supervisor Dowd.
1 week. Yeah.
1 more week. Supervisor Dowd, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Well, you were, I guess I'm going to point to the obvious and say you ran how many times before you got elected this time?
You mean over the years?
Yeah.
I have no idea. It has to be at least 7 to 10.
All right. Well, why have you thrown your hat in that ring so consistently?
Because I've always held public service as a high honor, and I started watching Janesville City Council meetings with my grandmother, which lived with us and my parents, and every Monday when it was on, we'd go sit on her bed and we'd watch the city council meetings from when I was like 5 to 12 or something ridiculous like that. And so it was just always...
Was this like kind of a torture, or did you enjoy it?
No, I liked it. It was something I looked forward to. And my pediatrician, Dr. Schroeder, was on the city council then.
And so how old were you when you ran first?
18.
18.
I was the youngest candidate ever to run for...
And you're not 18 anymore?
No, I'm 45. Now I'm an old man.
All right. And
I'm a hell of a lot smarter now that I'm 45 than when I was 18. So.
And when was the last time when was the last time... Have you won? When was the last time you won, I guess, because you're a supervisor?
April 2014.
So less than 2 years.
April 1st, 2014. April Fool's
No joke.
Day. No.
No joke. You won after running since you were 18 until you were 44, and you were elected to a 2-year term on the Rock County Board of Supervisors.
Yep. Won by 26 votes.
By 26 votes.
The lowest turnout of any district in the county.
And you beat out the incumbent.
Phil Owens, yep.
Was he a hard-working kind of a fellow, or was it pretty easy for you?
I believe he went on vacation from December to March, so I basically was campaigning by myself.
All right. And did you enjoy being on the Rock County Board of Supervisors?
I enjoyed representing my district on the county board.
I'm sorry, let me rephrase this. Did you enjoy being a public elected official?
See,
because you were fighting for this for a long time.
And my views changed from the time when I ran when I was 18 till I ran now. And it wasn't about me serving as an elected official. It was more what I can do to make a difference now. Because now I'm old, I don't have a future in politics, and I have no desire for the higher office at this moment. But I just wanted to make a difference, and by actually getting in there, I tried to do as much as I could in the shortest amount of time. Because it's never guaranteed that you'll get reelected. And the county board now has the idea that if you're newly elected, you should sit there for 2 years and twiddle your thumbs, and because you don't know anything. And
that's not the way you were prepared to deal with this.
No. And so I shut my mouth off and irritated a lot of people and asked too many questions, and I think that's what the county board in Rock County needs more. So.
And was it a frustrating experience then?
And I'm actually looking forward to leaving my position.
Well, and then let's talk about that.
Yeah.
You announced that you are resigning.
Yep. As of 12:01 on September 11th.
On September 11th.
12:01 a.m. I had to go out with a little.
Well, how did you pick that date?
The last meeting, I wanted to attend the September 10th county board meeting. So
September 10th is the big.
Yeah.
All right. Well, in that case, so you were elected to a 2-year term.
Yep.
And the big now you're going to tell them everything you wanted to say.
Well, I'll be nice about it.
Really? So you're not even going to go and say, I'm not, even now, I'm not going to say everything I really think.
Well, you know me. We've had conversations. You just give me a look once in a while with some of the stuff that comes out of my mouth. And,
my looks betray me?
Right from the start. So, I mean...
Okay.
But I think it can benefit people if they I was involved in politics for so many years, and then I finally get there, and you really realize how messed up government is and how it operates once you're on the other side of the fence. And no, I enjoyed it. I mean, I think it, but the roadblocks and the constant, little things just sort of, they don't like change well. And
Do you feel it's not for you?
no, it's for me.
Do you feel like maybe politics, like, you really want a job and then you get the job, you're like, ooh,
No,
that's not what I was thinking.
No, I think there has to be a level of respect from veteran board members when new people come into the picture, because my impression or my opinion is that they've been there so long that they get too comfortable at how things operate, and they're more focused on no conflict, and they're more focused on being an entity that no one knows what they're doing, because as soon as someone knows what they're doing, then they're going to be held accountable for it. And the new people, like me and the other supervisors, we were criticized for for asking too many questions. The first meeting, the supervisor walked out the back door going, well, this is going to be a long 2 years.
Boy, how wrong was he?
I've introduced 5 resolutions. All 5 of them have been tabled at the committee level, and I've had to pull them up and with 4 other supervisors and then get it to the full board, and 4 out of the 5 passed. And the people that voted for it at the county board, at the general county board meeting, voted against it to table it at the committee level. So I think I've figured it out now. If you want anything done on the county board, if you can get it to a vote at the actual county board meeting, they're more likely to vote the way that they should versus in committee, because no one pays attention to what goes on in the committee level.
So 4 out of 5 initiatives that you proposed were accepted, were eventually passed.
Passed with a large majority.
And still you felt that the resignation was the route to go?
No, actually, my resignation is because my wife, Mary, got a teaching job in Milwaukee. So I'm not choosing to leave because I'm angry. I'm choosing to leave because it's more important for her to be a teacher and more important for the effect she can have on kids than me serving on the Rock County Board.
What about the voters that voted for you?
I appreciate them very much, and I've done everything I could for them in this time. And like you said, since I've been running as an 18-year-old candidate, my wife Mary has been there since that time. And she has let me serve on every committee. She's let me run for whatever I wanted to run for. And this is the time that I have to be the good husband and say, there's a school, it's called Milwaukee Cyber School in downtown Milwaukee. And she's a special ed teacher, and with all the governor's proposals and, public employees and the teachers just being ripped apart, they're the ones to blame for everyone's problems over the last few years and the attack on unions.
So is Governor Walker to blame for Jason Dowd leaving Rock County Board of Supervisors?
No, but Governor Walker's to blame for making Mary Dowd hate the teaching profession. And by going to Milwaukee and working at this school, she has found her passion again to be a teacher. And so she quit her job in the middle of the school year last year because she just couldn't deal with all the issues that were going on, and teachers feeling like they're the antichrists in the community that are going to come and steal your children and eat them, and that whole philosophy. So by me stepping down and moving to Ozaukee County, my wife can be the excellent teacher she is, and she'll love her profession, and she'll have her passion back.
Okay. No, I'm just thinking that there's been politicians and public servants, most recently Andy Jorgensen, state representative, whose district was cut into 4 pieces through redistricting. and he made some choices, and he continues to represent, and so forth. In your situation, absolutely family life is important, but have you considered renting an apartment or somehow serving out the rest to complete that term?
I've thought about it, but to me that's basically lying to my constituents. Because if I did rent a place in Beloit, or I kept my house in Beloit, I wouldn't be a citizen of Rock County. I mean, it goes with the same idea.
I can see that.
It goes against the same idea that a couple years ago when some people ran for state assembly where they didn't actually live in the district while they were running.
And I thought of that as well. But the difference is that you continue to work here in Janesville.
Yes.
So you've been commuting from Beloit to Janesville. Now you could stay here during the week.
Well, I've had dual citizenship at the moment of Beloit and Haynesville, but it just wouldn't work, because I feel that if you're going to represent people, you have to be among the people that you're representing, and that's more important than me holding the position as a county supervisor. Okay. I know I have the obligation that I should finish out my term, and I was planning on it. I mean, this was not something I ever thought that I would ever do. But now that I've done it, and I know the end is near, and there's just a lot of things that the county board can improve on. And with the mindset that many of the members have now, you're not going to have a progressive or a forward-thinking board if they do not make some changes and not make the process so difficult for people who know what they're talking about when they come in. I mean, I've had 25 years of experience. I was going to county board meetings before any of them were even elected to it. Back when I was 18, 19, 20 years old.
Okay, so
I'm different than most first-term supervisors.
I agree. Yeah. I agree, and that's what makes this particularly surprising. Because you were so well prepared. You're so you put so much energy into getting started. It took you a while to get started in this process. Now you're finally here, and now the situation in your personal life changes so much that you're saying, I'm going to walk away, I'm not going to finish my term, I'm not going to run for other things here, I am done here. You're a fantastically dedicated husband.
Thank you. No.
Okay, go ahead.
No, I mean, it wasn't easy. I think that, if there was a way that I could do it and not be seen as someone just trying to hold on to the position, just to hold on to it. I mean, my passion since I've been elected is to serve my district. That's what I do. That's my whole focus. There's things personally that I didn't necessarily agree with, and I pushed a little bit for the people in my district. And if I don't live there full time and I don't have the time to give them everything, it's not about me being this. When I was 18, 19, 20 years old, it was about me being an elected official and being a state senator by the time I was 25. 45, now I'm representing and standing for what I really believe in. And it's not about me. It's not me progressing up the chain. It's about what I can do while I'm serving in that position, the transgender issues and the oil.
All right, so let's talk about the issues. You said you brought 5 initiatives.
Yes.
4 out of which passed.
Yes, and they passed with large margins in favor.
Okay, so let's talk about those. What were they?
Federal Medicaid money to enhance Badger care.
That was a letter or a motion, or
it was a resolution.
Was there a resolution?
Placing it on the ballot, encouraging the governor and the legislature to accept the money.
And did that resolution, once it was placed on the ballot, did that pass?
It passed by a large margin in favor, yes.
And the resolution encouraged Scott Walker to do what?
To accept the federal Affordable Care Act money that would enhance, which would go, a lot of that would go directly to the counties when it comes to mental health services and other services that the county has to pay out of their pocket right now without that tax money coming in. So it's just a plain stupid financial decision.
To be clear, were there other counties that passed similar resolutions?
There were, double digits, but I'm not sure.
Double digits. There's total, what, like 72 counties?
Yeah, but it wasn't in all counties. It was,
Okay. But they were in double, but there were several others that have done something. Okay.
Strong Republican,
including strong Republican.
Walker counties even passed it by a large.
Did the governor change his mind?
No.
All right. Number 2, what was the second thing that you brought to the county?
Gender identity and gender expression, including that in the housing and the personnel policy.
So
and that's
like prohibiting discrimination
yeah.
based on gender and sexual orientation kind of thing? All right. And was that like a resolution? Was it an ordinance?
It was changes to the actual ordinances.
So now in Rock County, it is specifically illegal to discriminate based on gender because of the resolution that you brought out.
Right.
Okay. 3.
The ad hoc committee to restructure the county board, televise meetings, see if we need to reduce the number, to maybe restructure some of the committees, such as the county board staff committee, which duplicates 3 other committees, and it's a useless committee in my opinion. But
so you want to do like a big examination of the whole structure,
right, strategic planning, the whole thing thrown in there.
All right. How did that go?
It failed with, I think there was 4 or 5 people that voted in favor of it out of 29.
All right.
Which I was expecting that because they are very.
What was you think the biggest problem that killed that initiative?
They didn't feel it necessary to do that, to actually look at itself and make improvements. They feel that it's already doing that at the committee levels. So there's one committee can't really take a look at all the committees and make a smart decision, according to some. And I happen to believe that our committee structure in Rock County is actually too strong. So there's supervisors that can't really do their job efficiently and to the best of their abilities because certain people in certain committees get really upset if you ask questions because they feel, well, you're not on this committee, so why should you be asking questions or why should you even think about this? You should just pass it all willy-nilly because we were telling you it. We investigated it, we looked at it. You should just trust us. And when you do that, you take away the power from supervisors to ask the questions that they need to ask. And like the tower in the courthouse is coming down for some ungodly amount of money. I can't remember off the top of my head. But we're just supposed to blindly trust all these people when they do this. And then when something like that pops up years later and we're wasting money on it, if someone would have said something 5, 6, 7, 10 years ago, whenever it was built, maybe we could have avoided the whole cost of doing this now. But I think back then, too, they just allowed the committees to have too much power, too much control. They didn't like supervisors who weren't serving on those committees asking questions because you were invading their territory. And that's how the county board still operates today. And there's a group of people, the county board staff committee, that if they don't like your ideas or they want to have some sort of power control over you, they table your resolutions and they just wait 60 days till you get the other people to push it.
Who are these people?
The leadership of the county board.
All right.
Chair, vice chair. The majority of the chair.
Do you feel that if the chair and vice chair were different, situation would be different?
Yes.
All right. So potentially the other approach would have been to sit there on the county board and wait for those people to retire or to run against them and try to replace them, those kinds of things.
Right. And there was a lot of inconsistency with, there's 29 county board supervisors. I don't understand why one supervisor can chair 3 different committees. Well, other supervisors are just sort of drifting in the wind there. Well,
there's 29 members.
Yeah, 29 members, and there's like one supervisor that's chairman of 3 different committees.
All right, so that's 3 initiatives. What's the 4th one?
For the ad hoc committee, or what?
You said you brought 5 initiatives, out of which 4 passed. It looks like we got through the one that didn't pass, so now we have 2 more that did pass.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Okay. All right. That's okay.
The open records.
Okay.
You're familiar with what happened at the end of the budget joint finance committee, and they went to gut the Wisconsin record, and then they changed their mind. So I put together
How many meetings have you been to? Let me put it this way, because this is a job that, as you mentioned, some people take lighter and the others take more seriously. I think from my experience watching you, you took this job very seriously. How many meetings have you attended per week or per month or total? Can you give me any number?
In the last year and a half, at least 400.
400 meetings, is that what you said?
And I wasn't required to go to all of them.
And you attended 400 meetings in the last year. There weren't that many days. Or you said year and a half.
Year and a half.
So is it like a meeting per day?
Yeah, or I'd go to like 2 or 3 meetings a day, and I hung around the Human Services Committee, which I wasn't.
So I can, in a way, understand your wife wanting to find another job that would bring you out of this environment. Because before you did not do that kind of, or have you been always this involved, or
I was until 2000. Then I just sort of retired from politics and didn't really intend to do much after that. So
I see. All right. Now you're moving.
Now I'm moving.
What about, do you feel that politics is something, or public service, or local elected official, or any of that kind of stuff, is that all behind you, or do you think that in the future you may run again?
I've run at least 10 campaigns. 9 out of the 10 I've probably said I will never run again.
So stay tuned.
And I'm sitting here, so that
So stay tuned. Okay.
No, my wife and I have always said.
No, and go ahead.
We're going to end up wherever God wants us to end up at, and right now they want me in Ozaukee County, and they want Mary teaching in Milwaukee, and it all tends to work out once you just go with the flow of things.
Okay. Well, on that note, what is there? What else do you feel? What are some of the initiatives that you wish you would have been able to push forward?
I would like to see Rock County adopt decriminalizing marijuana.
Do you think the county could do it on we want to send a letter to the governor level, or like it's the state troopers can no longer arrest people?
We can do it with the support of the district attorney and sheriff, where they can make their office policies where they won't prosecute a certain amount, a certain level, and that's all we really need to do. We don't even need a resolution or anything. We just need to get the district attorney and the sheriff on board to do it and remove all these people that may be sitting in the county jail for petty,
non-violent crimes, as they say.
And I think we really need to focus on that.
Do you have you ever done numbers on the fiscal impact of such a move?
I have, but I can't remember what they are.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Any numbers? Well, do you know how many people we have in jail in Rock County, or how many we're persecuting, or anything like that?
No.
That would
not current numbers. No.
Okay. Any numbers?
No.
All right. Okay.
Because I knew this wouldn't go anywhere, so I actually was working with another...
You felt that was a dead end?
Yeah, and I was working with another supervisor who totally is the opposite of my political philosophy, so we were working together. And
because you felt that was one issue where you did meet...
Yeah, like veterans use marijuana issue. For like for post-traumatic... Yeah, thank you. Right. And, and I don't think if they end up getting arrested that they
deserve that.
They deserve that, especially if they're, vets and the hell they've gone through over, for the country. You should at least give them the medical materials that would help them with their conditions.
All right. What else?
I would like to see televised meetings.
Okay. Well, you and I have talked about this many times in the past. That's, I think, transparency in government is something that you and I have clearly in common, the desire for that kind of accountability.
And I also feel that...
Is this because, for your grandmother?
Yeah.
for all the grandmas out there, so they could watch their local government every...
Exactly. Yeah. And I just want the county board to be more progressive, more, and not when I say progressive, not forward thinking. They're too comfortable, and no one knows what they do. No one bothers paying attention, and so there's people serving on the board that have probably never seen anyone besides the 50 people that signed their papers at the start of the election. Mm-hmm. And to me, it's just not right. It's just totally, completely wrong, because these people have $192 million budget and $30,000 on carpet. There's been a few things I've made comments about. We accept a lot of grant money, which is matching grants. That I feel is, I'm all for grants, but if you're getting a grant for $100 and you have to pay $50, to me that defeats the purpose of getting the grant in the first place. And I want to see. Now I lost my train of thought. It's right there too.
It seems like interesting to me though that you clearly had a vision for the future. You weren't ready. Had your wife's situation not changed, really, you'd be here still advocating for those issues.
Oh, yeah. She wouldn't have gotten the job in Milwaukee, I'd still be here, and I'd probably be here for at least 2 more terms.
For as long, for a while.
Because I think 10 years on the county board is enough. I think they'll fight you tooth and nail about term limits. But
right.
I think 10 years is good enough for a county supervisor, and
it's enough for a county.
After 10 years, they'll. I don't want to say it, but I'm going to take a lot of slack for it. They outlive their usefulness. They get too comfortable. Just like a job. If you do a job for 10 years, which I've been doing, I don't slack off because I work hard. But you get comfortable in what's going on and what you're doing, and you tend to lose that sharpness and that focus on making sure you keep things moving forward and not stagnant. And right now our county board's stagnant.
All right. Well, let's see. Any other kind of 2 closing questions? Anything that you'd want to say to the county supervisors or to the county?
I'd like to thank District 16.
That was my next question. Is what do you want to tell?
No matter what I
district?
Do, no matter what I do, where I go, whatever happens in my life, District 16 is going to be in the city of Beloit. It's going to be my first child, my princess, or my star basketball player. Because after everyone else, city of Janesville hated my guts, never elected me for anything. I go to Beloit and District 16. They looked at me and said, "Yeah, well, represent us, and we'll back you 100% as long as you back us." And I really, really like Beloit, and I really like my district, and I will miss that aspect of it. And because I did it, my whole focus when I was younger, I tried to do things for me. It was me moving up in politics and playing the little political games, and now it's me playing the game, but for actual issues that would actually benefit people. And there's a lot of people in state government and in local government that have lost that view that they are there for the people, and they've grown selfish and
all right,
and too partisan. So.
And that's okay. Then 2 more questions. Then first of all, the Democratic Party, Republican Party, you're not in a partisan position.
Right.
Your thoughts on a 2-party system and its advantages or disadvantages, and whether it fits.
I dislike both political parties.
Do you consider yourself an independent?
A progressive independent.
A progressive independent.
Yeah. Because I think the state government should actually change their structure with a unicameral system. So you eliminate one of the houses, either the Senate or the Assembly.
All right.
And then you create caucuses based on geographic location. So instead of having the Republican caucus and the Democratic caucus, you have caucuses. Let's say you have 5 different counties from southern Wisconsin. Let's say there's 2 Republicans get elected, 2 Democrats. Those 4 have to decide who their caucus chairman is, and they have to work together.
So regional?
Yeah, and they're elected, and they do not run as a party representative when they run for state the only one that's still elected is the U.S. Senate, Congress, and the governor. All the others would be nonpartisan.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
And then the final question: do you feel that you work in Janesville, you live and represent Beloit? What are your thoughts on the two cities in Maine? Two biggest cities in Rock County.
Well, I grew up in Janesville, so I like Janesville. I think Beloit's a little better because it's more diverse. It's more, I don't know. It's for being a city so close to Janesville and having the total different feel from both communities is just amazing. And I really think Janesville and Beloit need to really sit down and discuss, racial issues, more collaborative efforts. ABC Supply and the Hendricks family can't bankroll Beloit forever. So we have to get a more regional focus on things. Janesville to me is always, I've being an 18 to 22-year-old candidate for city council, I got to see all these people in action when the cameras were on, but then I also got to go off to that little side room. And I was somewhat amazed at some of the conversations from some beloved council members. And so it's, I think Janesville's really good at maybe not addressing the issues that they should be addressing, and like I said, the racial issues. I never had an African American in my middle school until I was like in 8th or 9th grade, 7th or 8th grade, and there was like maybe 2 African American, and there's also a lot of racial things going on between Janesville and Beloit. I know people that will not go down to Beloit because of that issue specifically. So, and this is another good one too. I was sitting at a meeting at the county level, and I was the only one from Beloit, and there were comments made about Beloit, and this was the property that had the bullet holes in the car, and went on for a 5-minute conversation just tearing apart the city of Beloit. And these were people that were supposed to be representing the county, and I tended to say something about it because I was from Beloit and I didn't really appreciate it, and I got lectured about it because I shouldn't be shooting my mouth off, and every time I went to the newspaper I shouldn't be talking to the newspaper because the county board chairman should be the only one talking to the newspaper. There's been 5 or 6 supervisors that have never ever expressed any dissatisfaction towards me, but they go and they run to the chairman of the county board, and so he can come out and give me a little slap on the wrist. And there's a lot of county board supervisors that have been there for many years that have no idea how the county actually operates, because I've been accused of breaking 3 or 4 rules, and I was right because I read the rules. And so it's interesting. It's an interesting entity, and I hope that they take my comments as not criticism, but some constructive direction on how they can get a little better from someone who spent his entire life in politics and government for something, and I have no problem walking away with it at this time because I don't have the time. I'm working full time, and I don't have the time to play these games and wait 60 days and watch my 5 resolutions get tabled. But the vice chair of the county board had a resolution on the desk of the county administrators, one of the assistant county administrators. The rule is you have to present that to the chairman at the meeting. Well, she didn't do that, and that flew through. They didn't table that one. That was passed on the very next meeting. So I had to wait 60 days for any of mine to get passed. So when people tell me that they're fair and they're equal and that they're open-minded and they're open to change, you can just look at what I tried to do on the county board, and it's totally blows that argument out of the water. So that's what I want to change, that new people can get in there actually do something and not sit there twiddling their thumbs like the rest of the county board expects us to do as new members, and actually accomplish things. Because I do know the new members that were elected with me were there to do something, not as a social outing, not as something to do because they have nothing better to do.
Yeah, but there's next election where you can have more people that think like you will get elected. It's in the process. Isn't this just paying your dues?
There's 29 seats, 5 people ran when I won. Do you really think we're just going to have a massive 29 seat contested election? No. You're going to have like 2 or 3 other people. And you have to win the seats. All the county supervisor has to do is knock on a few doors, and as long as they have that incumbency, they won't lose.
It seems like somebody with your stamina in politics wouldn't be concerned about those kinds of things.
Yeah, but you have to look at it, though, because I'm starting to realize that if you don't go out and you try to shift things, you can't accomplish anything. I think I accomplished a lot, but there's other people on the board that aren't going to step out and make the comments I make or put the effort and try to push it, because it's a little intimidating when you have people that have been on there for many years. And me, I could care less. I wasn't there. None of them in the room can vote for me. I wasn't there to be part of the county board. I wasn't there to protect the county board. I wasn't there as a social outing. I wasn't there for whatever reason. I was there to represent my district, and I was there to accomplish something while I was there, whether it's the full term or 10 years, and the frustration and the roadblocks and the comments and everything that, it acted like I wanted to overthrow the county or something, and I don't get it. I don't understand that. In my mind, it's, I know politics. I've been stabbed in the back, and everyone's been through that process. They have to run for one thing or another, but no, this is just, I knew what I was walking into, but I didn't know it was walking into something that you just had to scratch and claw at to try to get a simple, basic thing through. Like changing the, transgender policies, because the human resource director, I don't think I've told you this. It was going to be voted on at a county board meeting, and out of the blue, the human resource director walks out and says, "Oh, well, we have a director that objected to it." So I thought we were going to vote on it. No one bothered to tell me that anyone objected to the proposal that I made. There's absolutely no communication between the county board staff committee and the other county board supervisors. The county board chairman says if you're unhappy with something, then you're supposed to bring it up at the meeting, like the appointment process if someone leaves. Well, that happened, and there was almost a fist fight between 2 supervisors. So they actually, we tried to actually do something, and we did what the chairman told us to do, and then when we did it, it was just basically, well, you shouldn't be bringing it up now. Well, you were criticizing us before, saying that you needed to bring it up at that time. So it's just this constant mixture of weirdness on the county board, and they just have to stop thinking that people like me or new members who come in there are there to basically make their life a living hell, because that's not what we're there for. We're there to do good things and make things happen.
Are they taking things personally?
They take things very personally. They take things very my open records resolution, there's a couple people that feel I had alternative motives for it. What that may be, I have no idea. I just think people should be accountable and there should be transparency. And
you mean ulterior?
What did I say?
Alternative.
Ulterior. I
was like, yeah, you clearly do.
Yeah. So it's like, it's just really weird. There was a county board staff committee meeting too that it was like a 20-minute conversation about how I needed to respect them and their experience and And because they've been on there for a certain number of years, they belong on the staff committee or as chairman. If you sit there and say nothing at meetings, then why are you any more qualified for someone like me who asks 30, 40 questions a meeting? I mean, and it's just very frustrating. And this is actually the first time in 25 years where I could say whatever I wanted and have no political ramifications from saying those. So I'm not slandering anyone or anything, but I mean, there's just needs to be a focus. And if 29 people go out and run for the county board election, then that would make me the happiest person in the world.
Any predictions on who will be appointed in your place?
No doubt in my mind it'll be Phil Owens, the guy that I beat. And he doesn't represent the people in my district. His philosophies do not represent the views of those living in the district, which is why I ran against him in the first place. But Phil is well liked by the county board supervisors, and I'm sure he got a phone call from someone as soon as I announced my resignation. He even came to a county board meeting when I was sick from my knee surgery. They allowed him to sit right behind my seat where I sit as the supervisor, and he asked questions during times when only the county board was allowed to ask questions. So there's that. He's one of them. I'm not one of them. He's one of them. So that's, and they're very nice to me. They're very kind. They're very. I don't dislike them, but I just strongly disagree with their interpretation of public service. It's not my interpretation of it.
What is their interpretation?
They want it, they want it comfortable the way they have it.
Status quo? Status
quo. They say they're for change. They say they're willing to change. They're very nice. Like I said, they're very nice and very diplomatic. But if they don't want you to do something, there's a lot of chatter in the background.
All right. Well, Jason, Supervisor Dowd.
But I love doing the job though. I just want to.
Why don't you say whatever you want to say when you're done? We will close this conversation because if you need to.
No, as I'm sitting here, I'm thinking to myself, going, I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not trying to just criticize. I know they're probably all well intentioned, and I appreciate their service on the board, but they just have to open up their mind a little bit and allow those with differing opinions to maybe remotely consider them, or at least push one resolution through a committee out of 5.
But you had several.
Yeah, and they all
passed.
Yeah, after tabling them.
I'm confused because you're saying they won't let you say a word, but then you do, and then what? You said several of them passed.
Yeah, because they won't. If I can get the issue to the county board to vote on, I can get it passed. But they do everything possible to prevent that.
So how did you get it out of committees?
I had to wait 60 days, which is part of the county board rules, and then I got 4 other supervisors to request that it be bumped up to the county level, to the full board.
So you were fairly successful in politicking.
Yeah, most people give up. If they tell me no, I'm not the type to. As soon as they tabled it, the next day I was sitting there going, what do I have to do to get this to the full board?
Supervisor Dowd, thank you so much.
And they weren't expecting that, so thank you very much.
Thank you for your brief but inspiring service, and good luck with where are you moving to?
Thiensville.
Thiensville. I saw that in writing. I wasn't sure how it's pronounced.
I think it's. I live in Freistadt Road.
Have you looked up who the representatives are of your area?
Yep, State Representative Jim Ott.
Okay.
State Senator Alberta Darling. And Congressman Glenn Grothman. I always mispronounce his name, but I don't think anyone really cares because he really doesn't do anything in Congress.
Alrighty then. Well, thanks again. And this is Yuri Rashkin. You're listening to Discover Janesville, part of Discover Community Media. Take care.